think Eifert's a guy. If you decide to wait on tight end, which isn't a bad thing to do, if you don't get Jimmy Graham and Gronkowski in round 4 or Jared Cook in, I'd say, round 8, I think Eifert's the guy you look at in round 11 and round 12. The worst thing that happens is he flames out early. You cut him and you pick up somebody like Fred Davis or Brandon Pettigrew or Mercedes Lewis off the waiver wire, and you go with them until you can finally latch onto a really good tight end. Heath Miller will be available in a few weeks. When he comes back, maybe he's somebody that you look at putting on your fantasy team. So right now, I would say Eifert is the leader in the clubhouse to be this year's Al.
All right. Excellent, Dave. Two really quick last questions here for you. In your many years of fantasy football experience, have you ever heard of a league commissioner obtaining a perfect 100% commission approval ranking?
Sure,
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
You know, it's the league commissioner that gets everybody to pay on time and puts league rules up to vote. If there's a questionable trade, the commissioner will put that up to vote. But if there's a basic trade, the commissioner won't do anything. And a commissioner who pays the fees out in an appropriate manner after the season. Yeah, we've seen those guys. I'm in a keeper commissioner as one of my fraternity brothers, and he does a great job every year. We give him a 100% approval rating.
Excellent. Well, I'm not going to tickle my own pickle here, but I happen to also receive a 100% commission approval ranking in my particular league last season, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah, you should be.
Thank you. My point, though, is that there are many great fantasy football leagues out there that have special features intertwined with them, such as live drafts, newsletters. They use Twitter, Facebook. They do podcasts, videos, Hall of Fames, and so forth. I believe the 49ers' new stadium will feature special media rooms where fans can check their fantasy team stats, which sounds really cool. Where do you see fantasy football, say, 10 years from now, Dave?
Fantasy football 10 years from now, I think it's going to be on your mobile device.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it's important to start getting used to apps like the CBSSports.com mobile app. I think advice is going to be more one-on-one friendly, or at least you'll be in a position to where you can listen to a podcast like yours or a podcast like ours, our CBSSports.com fantasy football podcast, and be able to get analysis quickly that way. All of our live programming is going to include one-on-one interaction this year. There's going to be more of that in the future. I think as far as league scoring and where league scoring is going to go, I think PPR is going to really take effect. And I think as people really start to grow and love football, hopefully defensive statistics will get a little more streamlined and cleaner, and they won't be kind of the mess that they are now, and people will start to take on IDPs in addition to their leagues. And I think dynasty leagues and long-term keeper leagues will all thing of the future. So I'm looking forward to all of that happening.
Excellent. And my last question, Dave, and is kind of a silly question, but in our particular league, we happen to have what's referred to as a mid-season hangout. So obviously we have our live draft where all 12 guys get together. It's really the only time we all are actually together and see each other and at the draft and whatnot. So we kind of decided, hey, why not during the middle of the season, why don't we get together again and go to a sports bar, watch the games, talk about how the league's going, maybe have some trades and interaction and whatnot. Unfortunately, last year we had one guy out of the 12 not make it, and I don't want to throw him under the bus or anything, but let's just say his significant other did not give him the green light. I know he lives.
Oh no.
Yeah, he does live the furthest away, so I will say that. But I guess my question for you, Dave, is what kind of punishment, if any, would you advise to be handed down to a coach? If he does something like that.
Who doesn't appear in a league function?
Yeah.
Well, in the NFL, when you're late to a meeting, you get fined.
I like it.
So I think he needs to be hit where it counts, and that's the pocketbook. He needs to pay, I would say, a premium 20% on his league fees.
Yes.
Maybe on top of that, maybe he needs to buy a round of drinks, soft drinks, of course,
yes,
for everybody in the league. So I think that's a suitable punishment for him. And then on top of that, and this is something that they don't do in the NFL, but I'm sure it's very common in fantasy leagues, he needs to write a poem and recite it out loud
for
everybody in the league. He needs to stand in front of everyone and write a very heartfelt apology in poem form for everybody to read, or for everybody to hear.
Well, the ironic
why he missed the draft meeting.
The ironic thing, Dave, is that he's the league ethics manager, which is very Very interesting. I like it. We personally we actually have some Riverdale Gazette or some newsletters that go out quarterly regarding the league, and in every photo that he is in, we are going to paintbrush superimpose handcuffs on him until he appears at the next league function. Anyway, Dave, this was great. Again, his name is Dave Richard. He is a CBS fantasy football expert, and you can follow him on Twitter at Dave Richard. And Dave, I believe you also have a show and a podcast that I think both you and Jamie Eisenberg are in as well. Can you just maybe tell us about that?
Yeah, we do a podcast. It's going to be 4 times a week soon, and eventually 5 times a week. It's a great way to get your fantasy football news and advice. We answer emails. We talk about everything that happens in the league. You can find us on iTunes or anywhere else where podcasts are downloaded. And the show live Tuesday through Friday and on Sundays on CBSSports.com. Just, all the hard-hitting analysis that you've come to know from CBSSports.com, including start sits. And like I said, we're going to have live interaction on every single show. So you can ask a question via email or via Twitter, and it'll get answered right there live on the show. We'll even have a phone line for people to call in. So just stick with CBSSports.com for all your fantasy football analysis needs, and you'll probably win your league.
Excellent, Dave. Thank you again for being on the Dynasty Podcast, and take care.
You got it, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
That was this week's Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
Bub, that Davey Richard, he is
David boy.
He knows his shit.
He does. He gives some good insight.
Some good intel.
Yep.
I like what he said, obviously, about Tyler Eifert. Is that how you say it?
Eifert. I think it's Eifert. Almost like Tyler Eifert Tower.
Gotcha.
Something like that.
I didn't want to call him out. I didn't necessarily agree with him on the Le'Veon Bell pick. That early 3rd, 4th round. We may have talked to him before the injury, but still, I don't agree.
Yeah, that's
to each his own.
Yeah. Yep. When in Rome.
Again, that does not apply, but that's okay. That's going to wrap up episode number 2, our draft analysis edition. Again, let's keep this feedback coming from all y'all. I just said y'all, like I'm from the South.
Hell yeah!
I'm not going to like the fact that I did that. If you get a question for us, the new segment, again, feel free to let us know, and we'll make that shit happen.
You have to submit your pick'em picks to pick'em coordinator Ben Green. Good luck to everyone in week 1.
Bob, that's my line.
Go ahead. You can say it.
Good luck to everyone in week 1. Football is finally here. This is the goddamn scooper.
This is Bub Polucha.
We're going to be back next week for episode number 3. Bub will not be hungover, hopefully.
No.
And it's going to feature our reigning Dynasty champion, Coach Chris Heaney, in the first coach's interview of the season. And we'll have much, much more. Over and out. Hi, this is Dynasty Board member, Power Rankings ranker, Dynasty Graphics analyst, and Dynasty A champion Coach John Costanza of The Rapists. And this orgasmic episode of the Dynasty Podcast was obviously brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant. They'll serve you human meat, even if you ask. It's a lot better than you think. Jube's Family Restaurant. Fuck yeah.